Well, you've become one of our favorites here at PFF. We have people talking about you all the time. Sam Monson may be your biggest fan. I think he picked you out the earliest of anybody. But it's been a great run, and you've done it without a great string of quarterbacks to back it up. You know, I mean, I was going over some of the numbers last year, and of course, Dwayne Haskins was there, who you knew well. And then he was let go, so he starts the first four. Kyle Allen comes in, Taylor Heineke comes in, Alex Smith was in there playing. I'm like, oh my God. And then you guys go out and damn near beat Tampa in the playoffs. And who knew, right? Who knew Tampa was going to be the train killer after that? So it has to give you guys some confidence coming into this year.
Oh, definitely. I think we had a lot of adversity last year, especially at the quarterback position. And being a receiver, that can be challenging, but I just tried to make the job as easy as possible. Being a former receiver, how hard it is to get that connection. And then with Taylor, I remember going into that game against Tampa, and we hadn't got any reps because I was out the whole week with high ankle sprain. So our first reps were in the game, but he made the game super easy for the guys out there because he knew his stuff. Like, guy coming off the street, being able to compete at that level that he did, giving us a chance to win that game was pretty dang on cool. But I think, we gave them a good run for their money last year. I know we weren't expected to get to that game and even win our division, but we just try to continue to stack days and continue to get better. But we have our eyes set on bigger goals this year, but we know it starts in training camp, so we're grinding real hard to improve on what we did last year.
Yeah, talk about you just a little bit. You come out as a third-round pick, and expectations for a third rounder or, whatever they are. I was a second rounder, so I'm not insulting you here. But things kind of popped right from the beginning. What was it that you took out of Ohio State or that you could do that maybe surprised people in the NFL?
Yeah, you just got to be ready when your number is called. Coach Meyer always preached that at Ohio State. And I tell people all the time that there's only one ball that could go around. You got guys like Paris Campbell and Curtis Samuel and Mike Thomas, J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. We had great tight ends, and the list goes on and on. There's only one ball that could go around, and I became really good at my role on the team. I was a dominant special teams player, and I was our deep threat, and I tried to do that to the best of my ability. But I knew if I got the chance to play in the NFL that I could show that I can be a number one receiver. I truly believe that in my heart, being at Ohio State. So Coach Hartline really, coached me up really hard my last few years there. And, I really started to refine my technique to be ready for the next level when that opportunity came. So, I got invited to the Senior Bowl, and I wanted to prove that I could be a dominant receiver, and I felt like I did that. I knew the measurables were going to be there because, I was always a fast guy who could run high and lift a lot of weights, but I just wanted to show I could play football at a high level. And Coach Gruden and the staff at the time drafted me, and I came in, and I wanted to prove not only, I think everybody coming in thought I was just going to be a special teams guy, and being in the NFL, I was just happy to be here. So if that was going to be my role, I was going to do that to the best of my ability. But I came in here to win a job. And, thankfully they gave me the opportunity to do that. And I learned from the best that we had at the time. And I just wanted to take the ball and keep it rolling after that and continue to build on that momentum that I've had.
It's interesting. As an ex-receiver, you play on the ball a good bit, but you're also in the slot a lot and watching some of your plays. But your catch and run ability is really something. I think you were 6th in the NFL as far as yards after the catch a season ago. Did you play running back in high school? Did you play quarterback? Where did all that come from?
I did play a little running back growing up, but my dad was like, you possibly have a longer career playing receiver than taking all those hits playing running back. But I think it's the mindset that I have once I get the ball in my hands. I want to catch and secure the ball first and foremost, and then I don't do a lot of dancing. I'm trying to either run by guys, or if there's a point of attack, I'm trying to run through you. That's kind of my mentality. And so I kind of have a plan. As soon as I catch the ball, I get upfield, and I want to hit it as hard as possible. So I think our offense does a good job of getting our guys in space, so that helps a lot as well. But I think it's just the mindset that I take as soon as I get the ball in my hands. You could turn a 5-yard gain to a 20-yard gain. And these short routes, you could turn into touchdowns, which can be backbreakers for deep.
Well, Terry McLaurin has certainly showed he's a number one receiver in this league. Adam Schefter has reported that Terry Mack is not expected to attend minicamp as a team and his agent haven't made progress in contract talks. Players under contract who skip the mandatory minicamp are subject to $96,000 in fines under the NFL CBA. But after a string of new wide receiver contracts, including, bear with me here, Devontae Adams for $140 million, Tyreek Hill for $120 million, AJ Brown for $100 million, Stephon Diggs for $96 million, Cooper Kupp for $80 million, DJ Moore for $62 million, Chris Godwin and Mike Williams for $60 million, Michael Gallup for $57 million, Brandon Cooks for $40 million, Hunter Renfrow for $32 million, and Robbie Anderson for $30 million. It's no surprise that a receiver who has accomplished all that Terry Mack has accomplished wants to get a new deal while the market is hot. He'll have no problem affording those fines after a new deal gets done. McLaurin is scheduled to make $2.79 million this year, a far cry from the $22 million per year that he's projected to get. There's an argument to be made that he would benefit from waiting until after this year to get an extension, as Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf are high-profile receivers that are also in line for big paydays. But it's clear McLaurin is ready now. The Commanders do have some leverage with the franchise tag, as he would make just shy of $20 million in 2023, and they could do it again in 24, which will pay around $24 million. Either way, McLaurin will be getting paid. For those who aren't as familiar, let's talk about Terry McLaurin and what makes him so special. McLaurin is a 6-foot-tall, 200-pound number 1 wide receiver that was drafted in the 3rd round out of Ohio State. He'll be 27 this year, so he's still going into the prime years of his career. There's one thing that sets McLaurin apart from other wide receivers, and that's his speed and his ability to convert the deep threat targets. He runs a 4.35 40-yard dash, which was 97th percentile in his draft class, with a speed score in the 96th percentile in his draft class. He was also 94th percentile in college yards per reception, which showed his deep threat role, as he was a paltry 6th percentile in college target share. He was a home run hitter all throughout college, but has since developed into a number 1 target in the pros. McLaurin's been durable as he's played in 36 games over the past 3 years, and he's had over 130 targets in both of the past 2 years, which ranked 13th in the league last year and 10th in the league in 2020. He also had over 1,000 yards receiving both of these last 2 seasons, all while having the likes of Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith, Kyle Allen, and Taylor Heineke throwing him the ball. This year, I guess he gets an upgrade in Carson Wentz, but that remains to be seen. Wentz was, however, 4th best in deep ball accuracy last year, which will pair well with what Terry McLaurin does best. Since 2019, McLaurin has suffered catchable target rates that have ranked 70th, 77th, and 41st in the NFL. It's safe to say he's done a lot with just a little. This is a fantasy sports YouTube channel, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have McLaurin ranked as the wide receiver 23 this year, and the consensus ranking for McLaurin among other draft experts is wide receiver 17 with an ADP of 46. So you won't be waiting much past the 4th round of fantasy drafts in order to draft him. With all the bad press that the Washington Commanders have been a part of the last few years, I don't think they will trade their young star wide receiver. If they did, or he decided to hold out, you can expect the fantasy stocks of Antonio Gibson and Carson Wentz to drop, while rookie wide receiver Jahan Dotson and slot receiver Curtis Samuel will get a bump in target share. J.D. McKissic would likely be the running back tone, with all the game scripts leaning towards passing downs, as Washington would likely be trailing in a majority of games without their best offensive weapon. It's time to put up or shut up for Washington. Hopefully McLaurin gets paid and we get to watch what he does this year. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Triple Play Fantasy's YouTube channel for all your fantasy needs.